A few months ago, a little-known shonen series called Chainsaw Man made its debut in anime form, having some of the best animation, best endings, best music, everything really. The voice actors were fantastic, just a really solid show. And that is, of course, featuring Denji, the protagonist of Chainsaw Man, where Pochita, his pet devil who is the chainsaw demon, took over his heart and made him the protagonist of his series. But in today's video, we'll be covering part 4 of a series that I've been working on for the last couple of months since the anime came out, covering what if the protagonist of Black Clover, that being Asta, had Pochita as his heart instead. Welcome everyone to part 4 for What If Asta Was Chainsaw Man. If you guys are new to the series and have no idea what's going on, make sure to go up to the top upper right hand corner and slap that little iCard I made, which has the playlist, so you guys can go back and watch the first 3 parts, be caught up, and I don't know, maybe like touch that like button like it, did something wrong to you. I don't know, maybe hit that subscribe button like if it's your 3rd grade math teacher who called you a loser in front of everyone else. Whoa, let's take it back. That was a little too specific. Anyway, let's get started with where we left off, which was Mars' attack using his mineral magic against the Golden Dawn members who had arrived at the treasure chamber first. Asta and Noelle being slightly behind and crashing into the room just moments after Mars had first attacked Mimosa, Klaus, and Yuno. Meanwhile, while Asta is having trouble in the main room alongside Yuno, we go back to Luck's perspective, where we see some traumatic parent events. Yay! Where his mom would hit him because he had Shinra's smile issue, which is kind of ironic since they both kind of have a similar design. But anyway, moving on. Basically, Luck had defeated a noble in his school, which caused his mom to praise him and encourage him to keep winning those fights. Real awesome parenting there, but whatever. Anyway, at the same time, Luck is Luck is putting the pressure on Lotus, the Diamond Kingdom general, who's realizing that Luck is getting stronger as they fight, causing him to end the fight as soon as possible, using his restraining magic of his smoke binding cross prison. Wow, what an original name. Anyway, at the center of the dungeon, Mimosa would activate her dream healing flower and would heal herself from Mars' attacks. The Golden Dawn, noticing the diamond symbol on his head and assuming that he must be a attack mage from the Diamond Kingdom. This would cause the battle between Klaus and Yuno to start against Mars. Also, slight tangent, did you guys see the new Black Clover movie? The animation, the story, it's so peak. Like, you guys need to go see it. If you like Black Clover, the movie, Sword of the Wizard King, fire. Anyway, like I said, Asta and Noelle had found the correct path. This is when an explosion can be heard rocking through the dungeon, and Noelle senses it to be Luck's magic power. Asta would turn around knowing that he needs his help as he grabs the cord in his chest, pulling it and transforming into Chainsaw Man, yelling in a metallic voice for her to split up with him as he runs towards Luck's location. Noelle would continue on into the treasure room while Luck is slowly being suffocated by the smoke jail prison. Fortunately, Asta manages to arrive in time, cutting and slashing through the magic, destroying Luck's binds and Lotus's spell. Anyway, Yuno would decide to turn his back and save Klaus from Mars' attack, the two having been fighting on who should go on forward and conquer the dungeon, since they were basically at the center anyway. When Klaus questions why Yuno would do this, trying to save him, it reminds Yuno of his vow he had made with Asta, that they would treasure their comrades, like they care for each other. Additionally, Lotus, the guy with the smoke magic, would ask about Asta's relation to Luck, wondering who this monster? Weird metallic thing is. He reveals that Luck is his friend, screaming it out as he holds up his half-cut hand with blood squirting out from his chainsaws. They both would be giving a similar answer, to them saying, "Because you're my friend," to Klaus and Luck at the same time. Sadly, after remembering his mother's funeral and the promise he had made to keep winning, Luck would decline Asta's help, saying for him to go back to Noelle as he charges towards Lotus again, with Lotus evading the attack, trying to launch another smoke counterattack. It's after this that he would notice something. Lotus is able to sense the magic power of those within his smoke. Asta not having any, would cause Luck to come up with a plan pushing him towards Asta's direction, who would slice one of Lotus's arms off, chopping through him and completely defeating him with a single blow. This would cause Luck to be delighted at the notion of their teamwork, wanting to give Asta a high five before he suggests that's probably not a good idea. He said that he's not going to deactivate this since there's still other explosions going on in the dungeon. The three of them are then running off towards the other sounds echoing from within, which is being suppressed by Mars with his mineral magic, and Mars finally using his grimoire to fight, which is now this like half grimoire thing. Anyway, Lotus would praise the Clover Kingdom for having someone without magic power in their ranks, saying that he needs to escape, using his smoke and fleeing while they're distracted by Yuno's fight with Mars. Anyway, he would escape with his subordinates, using smoke to create a vessel and fly away. At the same time, the rest of the Black Bulls would have made their way to the center, Asta seeing as a huge Leviathan. Mars's huge sword spell would be about to crash down and kill Yuno. Asta would appear, slicing with his chainsaws 3 times and completely turning the sword to dust, completely destroying Mars's attack. Asta demands Yuno to give him an explanation for why he looks so pitiful, screaming out. Yuno tries to deny Asta's claim, saying that he was just waiting for him, saying that he was just waiting for the right moment to strike back, when Asta arrived. Asta would demand him to say that he had saved him, with the two bickering now. When Klaus sees Asta's ability to destroy Mars's spell, the nobleman would be so confused, wondering how this weird monster kid is able to do this. Distracted, he doesn't realize that the clone that Mars had made using his crystal magic would attack him. Luckily, Luck steps in, using his lightning magic, and destroys the crystal puppet. This reminds him that he was saved by a Black Bull member, and makes him incredibly embarrassed as a noble of the Golden Dawn. Anyway, at the same time, Noelle would find her cousin Mimosa cooped up inside her magic spell trying to heal, and she would quickly cast her only spell that she knows, her water protection shield, saying that she'll keep her safe using her water dragon's nest. On the other side, the fight would continue with Mars creating several puppets himself, attacking all of the Clover Kingdom's mages at once. He would then focus his attention on Asta, who is clearly the biggest threat here, who's easily cutting through the puppets like they're nothing, turning them into just little rocks. The puppet that had attacked him would have been sliced in half. The others would be able to have some fight with the puppets, meaning that Mars would have to attack Asta with everything he's got, using another Leviathan. But Asta would once again easily slice it to bits and show off how none of his attacks are helping at all. Asta managed to break every attack that Mars launches at him, sending him flying into a nearby pool and cutting off 5 of his fingers. This Asta is not playing around. He's literally just cold stone serial killer at this point, but it's fun. Anyway, Asta's feats would be confusing Klaus until Noelle explains to him that her squadmate has the ability to transform into that monster that can cut through all magic. Klaus would belittle him, saying of course a commoner would have to rely on such a monstrous power to even become close to the nobles, mocking him for having no magic power of his own, relying on defeating others' magic power instead. Asta would silence him as his shirt gets destroyed by one of Mars's crystal attacks, showing off his buff chainsaw man body. His huge buff muscles would quickly silence him, especially after he hears Asta in his metallic voice say that he's going to become the Wizard King. When Mars hears Asta's proclamation, it would remind him of Fauna and his forgotten duty that he wanted to protect her, his ambition. He would try to brush these memories off, and this would cause his magic power to fluctuate. He tried to put an end to Asta, trying to crush him with a huge attack of crystals, but it would be completely useless as Asta moves even faster, turning one of his legs into a chainsaw and using the engine force to pull himself up the arm of Mars's crystal armor before beheading him, killing him and deactivating all the crystal puppets. And Mars would fall to the ground, his memories fully coming back to him now that he's cleared his head. Anyway, Mars is dead. Yeah, so he's dead. But he remembers all the memories of Fauna with tears coming out of his eyes as his grimoire slowly burns away. Anyway, Asta would declare that the dungeon's treasures now belong to the Clover Kingdom, and it's over. So, yeah, they win. Once they approach the treasury door, they had realized that it's completely composed of magic power. Luck would suggest that Asta just cuts it down for them, and he would do so using an X/, slicing through the treasury and then deactivating his Chainsaw Man state, falling unconscious as Mimosa runs over and tries to help heal him, although he heals even faster than a normal human would, all of his wounds healing in just a matter of minutes. Everyone else would enter the treasury, amazed at seeing the gold and beautiful necklaces and jewelry stored within it. Yuno would still find the wind scroll of Sylph, just not having to use it. As he reads and realizes he can't read any of this writing, the scroll glowing with wind and this green energy covering it before disappearing into his grimoire. Asta would be pulled by his hair by Nero towards this weird wall with another locking mechanism on it, similar to the one that they found at the front of the treasury wall, and Asta would realize what she's getting at. But suddenly an explosion of crystals would cover all of the Golden Dawn mages as a huge one would be thrown at Asta. Asta would be crushed into the wall, seemingly killed, as we see Mars's head being covered in flames reattaching to his body. Yeah, we're making him that busted. Anyway, he'd be completely revived with his memories of Fauna, boosting his magic power as he uses a fire-based healing spell. This is when they look at his grimoire and realize that his grimoire had awakened, where we see a fragment of Mars' memories of Fauna trying to attack him and him having to kill her. Klaus would then assume that Mars must be the experiment of the Diamond Kingdom to use two different elements, this being one of the rumored Diamond Kingdom's odd experiments that they did on their mages. Long after, he would see that Noelle is trying to douse his healing magic with water. She would not respond kindly to this. No, instead he would completely incapacitate Noelle, knocking her out and almost stabbing her. However, Asta would begin healing. Asta would stand up, having been crushed into the back wall and thrown into this new room where he finds a black sword. Of course, you guys know this to be the Demon Dweller's sword, but whatever. Anyway, Asta would pick up the sword, and as he's just analyzing it, the sword would begin to be consumed by his body, his arm ripping open as the chainsaws begin chewing up the metal, turning into a deeper black, as Pochita would absorb the properties of this blade, giving the chainsaw ridges the same look as this new sword. Asta would awaken to his full Chainsaw Man state, running out as he's now able to empower his blades with the mana of his allies. So basically he can have chainsaws that are coated in water magic or fire magic or whoever is on his team, right? This is when Mars sees Mimosa trying to heal her and Noelle, and Asta comes in, protecting them from his attack as his chainsaws begin to glow blue. To everyone's surprise, Asta intercepts the attack, neutralizing his flames with his water magic borrowed from Noelle. However, not everything is well. Although he had completely deactivated the flame healing spell with those triple slash of water magic, this is when a shard of Mars' attack would have embedded itself into his body. Asta had lost way too much blood as he feels himself falling unconscious, falling to the ground. It's at this point he'd go for the kill, which he couldn't do, but from Yuno's perspective, it looked like he was going to kill Asta, and this is when he activates the spell Meeting Sylph. From his perspective, time would slow down as she beats her wings, Sylph doing a little blowing at Mars as a huge wind attack would completely defeat him, knocking him unconscious and utterly destroying Mars, who appeared to be about to kill Asta. With Yuno's massive magic attack, the dungeon would begin collapsing. Yuno would quickly create a vessel of wind, grabbing Asta, Luck would carry him, and jump onto the vessel. Mimosa would begin healing everyone with her flower magic, healing Noelle, Asta, Yuno, everyone. Although she doubts that she can completely heal him with her remaining magic power, but he'd already begun healing again after he had lost all that blood. Asta is fully unconscious in this, so he doesn't ask to take Mars with, even though they left him behind in the manga anyway, but whatever. They would steer the vessel, Yuno unable to determine the best path to exit, Mimosa, who was their guide beforehand, being occupied with healing. Fortunately, Luck is there giving Yuno guidance with his own sensory skill using lightning to see the paths, and Luck and Klaus would have to work together clearing the path from the falling rubble. They would all finally escape together, managing to make it out of the dungeon, and Yuno quickly asking to carry Asta to a safer place to finish the healing process. It's at this point that Asta would quickly wake up, sitting up as he has a huge healing rate, of course being a fiend since he has the chainsaw devil inside of him. Anyway, Lotus would finally reveal himself again with his arms still having been cut off, having been covered with smoke, now carrying Mars. He had been actually watching their fight against Mars while collecting all the treasures from the dungeon. Anyway, while Mars is unconscious and had been saved, his memories would begin to resurface for his grief for killing his best friend. He remembered that she had actually tried to heal him before she died, saying that he had to live on, this meaning that he was living for the both of them. Anyway, Mars would wake up to Lotus's congratulations for a job well done, as they'd secured a hefty amount of treasure. We get this really beautiful panoramic shot of the outside world as Mars remembers the promise he made to Fauna, as he gives gratitude to Lotus for saving his life. This sudden change in his attitude would surprise Lotus, as he remarks that it seems that Mars' personality has changed after that battle. Back at the outside of the dungeon, Asta is already healed, with Mimosa now falling unconscious, mesmerized by his vitality as her magic power is running out. Yuno believes that his durability and high vitality is apparently his only strong suit. Asta would then retaliate, saying that he's not going to die until he becomes the next Wizard King, to which Yuno disagrees, saying that I guess he'll never die then. Anyway, that brings us to a wrap of the arc, with Klaus suddenly approaching them and hugging both Asta and Yuno, apologizing for his behavior during that mission, acknowledging that they're both excellent magic knights. Both of them would not care at all, completely being indifferent to it. Asta remarks that Klaus's other personality is way nicer than his noble act, basically acting like a country bumpkin. It's at that moment Luck decides to take advantage of the situation and requests to fight against Yuno, who would quickly refuse. Everyone would return home, with the dungeon having been conquered successfully, and both Yuno and Asta having gained something from their little adventure into the dungeon. If you guys want to see the next part going into the attack on the capital, as well as the Wizard King's congratulations to both of them and the squads, make sure to slap the like button, comment down below what you thought, and subscribe to this channel, please! What? I didn't say that. For more videos like this from me, and also videos not like this from me, because I am planning to finish all of my ongoing with us in the next month or two, probably June and July. So we'll be getting a whole new slate of stuff coming in, as well as some other voice acted stuff. I'm planning to do like a Love is War abridged thing. It's gonna be pretty interesting. We'll see. But you guys should be excited. Anyway, thank you to anyone who's made it this far, and I look forward to seeing your comments. Ciao.